I was recently watching that new Snow White movie starring Samuel L. Jackson, and it reminded me how much of a joke the Pittsburgh Pirates are. I mean, a team that chose to cut a player when he was 4 at-bats away from a 200,000 bonus, a team that can't make trades, draft, or develop players efficiently, or sign good players because of cheap operating, a team that gets no hit in spring training? Surely that's all fake. No franchise can be this pathetic, right, Harrison Ford?
Crazy thing is, it's true. All of it.
Rowdy Tellez really was cut by the team 4 at-bats away from what would have earned him a 200,000 bonus. I mean, I get it's a business, and as the contract goes, he has to get the required number of at-bats in order to get that money, but it's more so just a summary of how cheap this team is, like a good metaphor for how cheap they are to do it that close to the actual number of at-bats he needed. According to Pirates general manager Ben Cherington, the bonus had zero factor in the decision to cut Tellez.
Right.
If the money wasn't a factor, what difference would it have made to keep him for a few more games then? Was Rowdy Tellez good last year? No, but there were just 6 games left in the entire season. They had long been eliminated from any playoff hopes. He already had 421 at-bats. You really couldn't have just let him get those last few. It would have taken 1 game. Well, good thing the Pirates, a team that was bottom 5 in offense last year, added some help moving forward.
I'm gonna tell him.
Don't you dare.
It really is amazing when teams get a lot better, when they improve. I can't wait to see what the Pirates do with those improvements.
Somebody's gotta tell him.
Really quick as always, if you're part of the 51% of viewers not subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that button if you enjoy the videos, as I was just told the Pirates did virtually nothing this offseason to get better. As we stand days away from opening day, I'd argue the most notable thing they did was bring back Andrew McCutchen. Again, on his 3rd straight 1-year contract. They made a couple trades for hitters, but nothing that really moves the needle that much. I mean, they did also get Tommy Pham. I think any team he's on, no matter who, is at least a little bit more watchable. But here's the thing. Were the Pirates ever going to be even somewhat in on Juan Soto? Obviously not. And I don't think it would have been smart for them to even think about signing Soto, let alone actually doing it somehow. It runs so much deeper than just not signing some big name player, whoever that may be. The incompetence of the Pirates runs from the very top to the very bottom. Paul Skenes is of course insane and such a draw, but you can't even use him in any sort of argument for the Pirates drafting well. The Pirates weren't some forward-thinking team that made the brave, bold move to draft Skenes. No, they were able to get him because of how bad they've been over the years, resulting in them getting the #1 overall pick. Literally any other team would have picked him too. The Pirates have not drafted very well overall, but more importantly, they have a really tough time developing their players. I mean, only 4 playoff appearances in 30 years and 9 straight seasons without the playoffs tells you they've been awful at both. But with the development side, the Pirates have had some really good players on other teams, players that they had, only for them to reach their potential somewhere else. With the pitching, they had Garrett Cole, who was basically what Paul Skenes was before Paul Skenes. He was picked 1st overall by the Pirates, so the hype was big, and he had some good seasons with the Pirates, to be fair, to kick off his career. He was a part of all 3 Pirate playoff teams in the last 30 years, 2013 through 2015, when they were in the wildcard game every year, which had some of the few players the Pirates have gotten lucky with. Andrew McCutchen, Neil Walker, both first-round picks a year apart from each other, and Starling Marte, who was an international free agent. Cole, like McCutchen and Walker, and Marte and now Skenes are the lucky ones. Like, lucky for the Pirates to get, but pretty much everyone else thrived when gone. It's ironic that the Pirates of all teams are where Barry Bonds began his career, the literal best hitter ever. They may run into a few players like that, but for the most part, they can't find talent. And even with Bonds, he ended up going out more known as a Giant, not a Pirate. Even though he won 3 MVPs there, he still topped that in San Francisco. Garrett Cole, too. Cole was good in Pittsburgh, but took things to a next level once he hit Houston. Same with Charlie Morton. Morton was never an ace-like pitcher with the Pirates, though. He goes to Houston and revives his career as one of the best starters for a couple years. Tyler Glasnow is a great example of this, the sex god. He was awful as a Pirate, gets traded to the Rays, and has been one of the more exciting pitchers to watch in all of baseball. Yeah, he may be hurt a lot, but when he's on the mound, he has as good as stuff as anyone. Way better than he ever looked on the Pirates. So even the really good players the Pirates bring up, the few of them, either don't last very long there or become good somewhere else. And when you see how Glasnow explained the way the Pirates operate, you can see why this is the case. It's like they have a bunch of Amish running their team, or they at least did. Saying that there wasn't any advanced stuff, the most he could do was maybe check his spin on a computer. The Pirates really went, you see this baseball? Just grab it and, throw it and spin it, I think. And, just, yeah, do that. Okay? Great. Now, go! Kevin Kramer, a second-round draft pick in 2015, talked about his experience in the Pirates organization a few years ago. He said some pretty wild stuff, but only one of the things he went over is really all you need to know. In his first year at Instructional League, which takes place where the Pirates spring training facility is in Bradenton, Florida, he said they went to the beach at 4:40 in the morning and rolled around in the sand. The next year, they canoed to a private island in the middle of a state park and had to stay there overnight. Yeah, gee, I wonder why the Pirates can't develop players. Can't quite figure out that one. A private island, though. Someone might want to check those Epstein files, by the way. There were a lot of strict rules, apparently, within the Pirates organization. Unnecessary rules. Just a very one-size-fits-all approach. And according to Kramer, there were some bad apples in the organization who didn't seem like they were really rooting for the players. And just a couple days before Kramer's big league debut, there were coaches that told him that if he ever got to the big leagues with the Pirates, they'd be embarrassed for the organization.
Damn.
And just to show how bad at trades they are, look at how Tyler Glasnow ended up on the Rays. The Pirates traded Glasnow and Austin Meadows and a player to be named later, which ended up being Shane Baz, all for Chris Archer, a guy who became allergic to success as a Pirate. They basically traded for Archer as a way to try and go for it in 2018, only to finish in 4th place before losing 13 more games in 2019. With things getting so bad that year, there were fights in the clubhouse. Their closer Felipe Vazquez got arrested for... Wait a minute. I told you something was fishy about this team taking their players to some private island. I told you. But yeah, that all happened while Archer was insanely bad. It was a diabolical trade then, and it still is now. Yes, Meadows fell off after 2019 and is in Detroit now. Yes, Glasnow never had a full year in Tampa and is with the Dodgers now. And yes, Shane Baz has only ever been someone with potential, but you get the idea. No matter the context after all these years, the bottom line is the Pirates traded away 3 talented players for 1.5 years of a 5 ERA. It's a perfect summary of how the Pirates operate and how incompetent they are. They traded Glasnow because he sucked for them, only to see him become great somewhere else, while the pitcher they got in exchange for 1 year sucked. Oh yeah, and they traded 2 other guys with Glasnow for that pitcher who sucked. So they can't develop their players, and they get fleeced in trades. This one trade showed both of that. Now, all of this was happening under the former Pirates general manager Neil Huntington. So why am I telling you this? What does this have to do with the current day structure that Paul Skenes is a part of? Well, the fact that it's not so different. The Major League coaching staff was so unproductive to the point Ke'Bryan Hayes, another young player the Pirates have high expectations for, they actually gave him a big contract extension a few years ago, was going out of his way to work with the Pirates AA hitting coach when the AA team had days off, instead of working with the big league hitting coach. And because of this, Hayes actually caught fire at the plate, and what did the Pirates do? Fire that AA coach. I guess they were upset he was almost going behind the team's back or something, even though he was only helping the team out, the AA hitting coach. Well, the Pirates weren't having it, firing the man who helped Hayes out and keeping the current big league hitting coach they had, Andy Haynes. But you know what? They're smart. Surely that was the right decision. Oh no, Andy Haynes was also fired less than a year later, and Ke'Bryan Hayes was awful last year. He was also hurt, but bad before missing the last couple months of the season, and he hasn't really been good at all in the big leagues yet. Overall. Since 2020, when Ben Cherington took over as general manager, the teams finished in last place in the division 3 of 5 years, and the other 2, they were in 4th place. They haven't developed anyone into a true star. Brian Reynolds, I mean, he's good, but he's not a star, you know? O'Neal Cruz, as exciting as he is, he's not hit anywhere near where his expectations are. He only hit 21 home runs last year. For someone with as much pop as he has, that's not nearly as many homers as he should have. Andrew McCutchen was the 3rd best player on the team last year. He's 38 years old. Everyone else sucked. It's the pitching that has the most promise, although it's not because of any smart front office thinking. Your dog could have known Paul Skenes was the best pick at number 1. Not breaking any grounds there. It just hasn't been a very well-run organization, and I haven't even gotten into the ownership, but I think the front office thing is most important. Teams like Cleveland, the Rays, how about the Brewers in the same division? Perfect examples of smaller market teams with not as much money who find success. Why? Because they're well-run organizations with good player-driven systems that clearly have been helping players become the best they can be. The Pirates were operating like fossils up until a few years ago, apparently, and even with them at least attempting to be more player-driven after Huntington, no success has been found, at least not yet. That's why it doesn't all fall on ownership. Yes, Bob Nutting should probably sell the team, but when you have a front office running as incompetently as the Pirates have been all these years, there's only so much you can do financially. I mentioned O'Neal Cruz not hitting his potential yet. Well, that's the literal only international player since Starling Marte that's made any sort of noise for the Pirates. And the Pirates traded for Cruz. He was originally in the Dodgers system. Starling Marte is the last international player they discovered and brought up themselves. That was in 2007. Give them credit for swindling crews from LA, but they've been god-awful at finding international talent, whether from somewhere in Latin America or Japan or wherever. It's insane. You now have Paul Skenes, one of the most exciting pitchers ever, but nothing else really has seemed to change. And Skenes, of course, knows the urgency that exists, and more than anyone wants things to change. These are his words. We owe something to the city. This is bigger than all of us. There's a reason why Kutch keeps coming back. We've seen the videos of the wildcard game. I'm tired of watching them because it was a wildcard game. The fact that that's the golden era of recent Pirates baseball, that needs to change. And he, of course, couldn't be more right. We all know that. What sucks is what the most obvious path looks like right now for Skenes, which is the Garrett Cole path. I hope not. I hope he pitches a ton of meaningful games for the Pirates for years to come. But for now, all we can do is hope, because the team continues to not give us enough to be excited about. I'm really pulling for the Pirates this year, but it doesn't look that promising. It just doesn't. Let me know your thoughts, and thank you for watching.